Hello people of YouTube, I've decided to update the homepage of my neocities website, so this video is just me doing that. Stick around if you're interested. For context, here is what it looks like right now. This was the first ever web page I've ever made in my whole life, and it's okay. I think it suits its purpose, but now that the website is getting more content and stuff on it, I think it just needs an update, because if you scroll down, there's this huge star that actually leads to a game that I want to add to the website. But I first want to just redo the whole front page because it just needs an overhaul. I want to make the code look cleaner. I think I can do a little bit more. I'm better with HTML in general, so I think I can make it a lot better. So what I'm going to do first is just draw out a couple of options of what it could look like on paper before I actually start coding it. That way it's easier. Like if once I start typing to get it on a computer, it gets really messy and confusing for me really quickly. So if I have it all laid out on paper on what I want and where I want it, that'll be a lot easier for me to transfer an idea from paper to computer rather than my brain to computer. So the first step is to just solidify what it's going to look like as a final product. Product, page, web page. Okay, so here goes my planning process. I wrote down everything that it needed to have, like a blog, my gallery page, about me page, link to my Etsy store, as well as the games that I've been putting on there. Well, one game, but there will be more. And I was debating if the vibe was going to be like a starry night or early morning, like dawn kind of thing. I really like the stars and I want to reuse them, and I like the little guy and I want to reuse him too. So we have the tree in the background and then the guy sitting by the trunk of the tree with just the stars scattered. And I know I want it to be like a willow tree that kind of hangs and is all droopy. I also considered adding a moon, but in the end I did decide not to go with the moon. I just drew it out a couple of times. Each one was like a little bit different. This one I put the stars on top of the tree, and that made the tree smaller so I didn't have to put the stars on top of the tree. Then I made the tree like more of a different kind of shape and just moved the stars off to the side. And that's the one I decided on. And I drew it out bigger on this sheet of paper because this is going to help me plan like what's going to go in each box. That way it's really organized from the start. And I've also decided to make the phone look different than like if you're on your laptop or a computer. So I tried that out. I knew this is what it looks like right now. It's just guy in the middle with the stars around it, just like the website is. It's just smaller and squished to fit on the rectangular screen. Ultimately, I decided on something like this. So it'll be like a silvery gray background for each button. It'll probably have like a darker border around them, and then I'll have the stars on alternating sides and the title for each thing just right there, because I feel like this would be nice if you're on your phone. This is like a nice clean platform. And color palette wise, I am limited to whatever Crayola colors I had. They might be a little bit different like actually on a screen, but I have like a purple background as my main color, so that'll be like the main background color. And then the stars have like this darker outline and they're all filled in with yellow, and I might also just like put in random yellow stars in the background. I'm not sure. I'm not too concerned about that. And then of course I have the green for the trees. And I decided I didn't want to use brown for the trunk of the tree because I feel like brown didn't really fit into this vibe, because I already have this that's kind of brown and I didn't want to reuse it for the trunk of the tree. So I've decided to make the trunk a bit of like a silvery color. And overall, I think like these all come together very nice. And one thing I will end up having to do is find these colors as like a hex color number and save that into the code so I can reuse it on my different pages on my website, because I think I want to simplify it all down to just these colors across the whole website. Because right now it's like if you click on the gallery page, it's a completely different color palette versus the about me page or the blog page. Like there's no cohesion when it comes to the colors, so I think I'm going to use this for the entire website. But for now, I will just stay focused on the home page. Okay, so the next part of my process is to basically decide what my div class names are going to be before I actually start coding it. That way when I start typing on the computer, I already know what it's called and I already know what content is within that class. So for example, I'm going to start off with this green color and I'm going to block off the tree because I know the tree is going to be an image of its own, and that is going to be, what will I name it? I'll name it just dot tree. So now I know whenever I go to add the tree within the dot tree on my style sheet, I already know I'm basically going to want it to be like left 0, top like maybe 100 pixels. I like to use percentages, so I'll probably do like top 30% because that looks about to be 30% down. And when I go back to edit stuff, I'll already know the specific class tag that I need to work on. That way I don't have to keep going back and checking like, what did I call that again? What is that named again? I already know because it's on paper right in front of me. And also there's going to be stars for each of the image. And this is just the image only. So all of these will have their own, well, they'll each have their own div, but the image for star will all be the same. And actually, now that I'm thinking about it, now is a good time to decide which star I want to be what. So I know I need a star for the store, my Etsy store. I also need a star for the blog and gallery page, a game section, and about me section, which also serves as a contact page. Since I don't have that many highlighters, I'm gonna get out my color pencils. Store will be red, and I want the store to be front and center. So I think I'll make this one the store. And I know I want the about me / contact to be towards the top, but not in the center. I can change this later if I decide like I want the about me to be here and the store here or whatever. All that's fine, but this is just to get me started. And the games, it feels right to put the games right here. The blog can go here and the gallery will go here-ish. The color coordination just helps me keep track of the names of each of my classes, because I do tend to forget and I find it annoying to like scroll through my code just to remember what I called it. So it's all here on the paper. This is my reference sheet for what I'm building. And the last thing I can think of to take note of is this guy. And I don't know what to call, like, I don't know what to classify him as. I guess I'll put like, because he's a sitting meditation man, so I'll just put meditation man. He's so hard to call. Like, these are obviously stars, and those are easy because it's like just .gallery, .game, whatever. But he's special. He's special and nameless. And I don't want to type out meditation man so much. But med man sounds wrong. Okay, I'll just call him meditator. Did I spell it right? I definitely, meditator. Meditator. I'm gonna spell check that, hold on. Okay, so I don't think meditator is actually a word, but I'm going to keep it because it makes sense to me, and that's all that matters. And I did draw that willow tree myself using Procreate. I started off with creating this palette, and I did use a couple of references to help me figure out the shape of a willow tree because, you know, they're kind of funky trees, and I need a little help. And every now and then, I would add in that little meditation man just to see kind of what it would look like on the web page and how I want it to be positioned together. And then one thing I did come across, well, I always come across this when using Procreate, is if I keep going for so long, no matter what the texture of the brush I'm using, it all becomes very smooth and airbrushed-like. And I don't really like the smooth airbrush feel. I like the texture feel. So if you know how to avoid that, please do let me know. I'm kind of new to Procreate, but I did end up adding this nice speckling stuff. You'll see it in a second. But wait for it. Wait for it. Speckles are coming soon. And there are the speckles. I started adding those to give it some nice texture. And in the end, I really did like it. Okay, to start myself off, I started off with all the basics that I already know I need. So I started it with the HTML tag. And in my head, I have this stuff. These two lines right here, I have no idea what they actually do. Something about the viewport and something about how the browser will interpret the information on it. I don't understand these two. But then this one is so I can use the font awesome stuff. So like little icons like a store icon or maybe a video game control icon. The title is what will show up in the top tab. Like if I was on a browser, you know how each tab has a name displayed? It'll display Nescore, exclamation point. And then under that, I opened up a style. I will eventually copy it into my style sheet that's actually attached to my website, but I just want to do it all here now. That way I can get it looking the way I want, and then I'll copy, paste, and clean that up. And in my style area, I added a class for each of the ones that I did out on the paper, so I have that ready to go. And now, in my body, I want to start adding the actual thing. So we'll start off with the tree. It's been a while since I've done HTML. I gotta think. Okay, I know it needs an image. Oh, I have so much stuff going on here. I gotta clean this up. It's a hot mess. What's it? Photos, and I called it Willow Tree. There we go. And of course, I do like to do the alternative text for inclusivity reasons. So we have that. And then I'll also add the meditation guy. And now I'm going to go ahead and add all of the stars, so that'll be similar. But I'll leave the class empty for now because I'm going to be copy and pasting it. So we'll do class equals blank slot And the image class, each of them has the same one, which is the star. And we'll do the alternative text. It'll be shiny star. Okay, and now I'm going to just look at that, make sure everything is there. It'll be all over the place, but it should exist correctly. Okay, yeah, we got all our stuff. Except the star. The star, I definitely did something. Oh, I didn't add the source. Duh. Source equals photos slash star. And boom, there's the star. Okay, everything is going smoothly. So I will copy and paste this like 5 times. 2, 3, 4, 5. And now I can give each one its own class. So this one will be the store. This one will be, oh, right, button, BTN, store, blog, button, and gallery, game, about, button, and yeah, now I can start adding stuff to the styling sheets of it all. I did also just add button to all of these because I forgot that this is a class of its own. So I do want each button to be about 100 pixels, maybe, that's just a guess. And I know I want the tree position to be relative, and then the meditator position will be absolute in relative to the tree position. That way they're stuck together. And to do that, I actually think I need to put them together in one div, question mark. Now I'm confusing myself. Okay, one thing I like to do that helps is to add borders around everything. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And the point of using these borders is so I know what's connecting with what. It helps me keep track of everything, especially when it comes to sizing, because sometimes the box is way bigger than you think, but you can't tell because it's invisible. So putting a border around it makes it very obvious on what you're looking like. Like if I look at this now that everything has a border, obviously everything is still way out of whack, but now we see things are happening and stuff. Like this is a hot mess for sure, but there's borders around everything, and now we can actually start positioning because I haven't done any actual positioning at all yet. And one thing I do want to add to everything, because I'm noticing it is an issue, is all of the images need to be fit inside their box because they are doing too much. So let's check that out. Did not work. It did work. It did not work. What's that about? Maybe I used the wrong thing. Actually, what I think needs to go on is I need to define these boxes first. So let's say we'll give it a width of about 40% for this. The buttons, I did add a width and height to those. Or maybe the object fit needs to be on these and not on the image. I think that might be the problem. Object fit contain. Nope, I don't know what all that's about. I'm going to tweak it off camera and I'll let you know what the problem was and how I fixed it. Okay, so I did have to Google it. It was actually very easy to do. So basically, the first step I needed to take was to get all of those images within their box. That way they're not so huge before I start actually positioning stuff. So to do that, all I did was I made each image 100% the width of the box it's in, which is the div. And then within each div, I used the object fit contain. So it'll contain the image that is 100% the width of that box. And since that is done, I can now start to just put stuff where I want it. And the tree did look a little bit small, so I am going to make it bigger. And I'm also going to put it in the bottom corner. And then with the meditator, I will be doing something very similar. So I'll just go ahead and copy and paste this into the meditator. And I'll make him, I don't know what size he's at right now, but I know I want him on the bottom, and we'll do left 30%. I like to use percentages instead of pixels or anything just because I don't know what the person's screen monitor is going to look like. So if it's always 30%, it's always going to be 30%. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and put all the stars and, ooh, hello. Anyways, I'm going to put all the stars where I want them to be. I'll change the background color, and then I will start to make them links and all that. Okay, so my approach to figuring out where everything goes is I just have this little window here and I have the bigger window here, and I kind of just am adjusting it like this meditator guy. I want him to go down a little bit, just a hair, and it updates in live time. And I think he also needs to be a little smaller, so we'll go down 5%. And I think that looks good, and he needs to move down a little bit more, so I like to move him in numerals of 5. Is numeral correct? Is that the right word? I think that's the right word. And I think I'm content with that for now, and then I'll move on to the, the buttons. So we'll start off by adding the position. How do I do that? Position. I'm not the greatest typer or speller, but we're going to make it work anyways. Okay, so the position should be relative, I think, because that's what I made the tree. So I'm just going to be consistent with that, even though I low-key don't know what I'm doing. Let's see. Update that. Okay, it did move a little bit. So we want it to be in the top 10%. It's not up there. What? What if I move it top 0, right 0? That should put it in the top corner. Save it and refresh this. Okay, it moved up a little bit. What's it attached to? Maybe relative's not correct. This one's absolute, but I think it's absolute to this. I don't know. Maybe absolute is where I'm supposed to put it. Right? Okay, yeah, absolute is correct. I'll go ahead and add that to all of them. That way I don't have to go through that confusing moment again, hopefully. And do I want it there? I feel like it's a little large. It might be a little too large. I do wonder, did I specify how large it should be? No, I didn't. So what I'm gonna do now is I'll start here with the blog button and kind of just put something worth copying and pasting, if you know what I mean. I like to go ahead and do whatever I can through copy and paste because I'm really not good at typing. So just being able to type it once and then copy and paste it multiple times, that definitely suits me better. Now we're good. Now all the buttons have that. And let's start putting them places. So we'll leave the store button there, right? And then we will, maybe I should have decided the width I wanted it first. I like to use percentages, so let's take it 20%. That's big. We'll do 10%. 10% is likely what I want it to be. Let's look at it full screen. Yeah, that's a reasonable size. Okay. Okay, so now they're appropriately sized. Let's move the blog button. And I wanted the blog to be about around, let's say 30% from the top, right? Yeah, and then from the right side, I would say that's about 20%. And I decided to spare you from the very boring process of me just doing that over and over again. I just guesstimate the percentage and then tweak it a little bit by like 5% at a time until I was completely satisfied with the way it looked. And then after that, I went ahead and added the blue background and went through and started deleting all those borders so I could get a good look at what the whole thing looks like. And that's looking pretty good, pretty good. But I realized once it becomes like a odd shape, like if someone's screen were to just be like this, that's weird. So what I think I'm gonna do is put all of this in a box. So here in my body, I'll make a whole new, I guess this should be a div, and we'll make it full screen. Okay, so all of this is wrapped in a div called full screen. So we'll add the specifications right here. So the full screen. Oh, also, this is how I changed the color background. For the HTML, I just made the background. So it would make anything with this tag that color. Very simple, very easy. Okay, so I fixed it now. It works. So if it becomes long and weird shaped, it's all good. And all I needed to do was put it in this div box with the class full screen. And for the full screen stylization stuff, I can get rid of this border now. I just made it position fixed. I put it in the top left corner and the width of it is 100% of the screen. And boom. Now if the screen becomes elongated, it doesn't break anything and it's fine. All is well. Now I can make these buttons and map it to the rest of my web page. And that'll only take me a second. I'm really just going back to my old page to remember how to do it, because I don't have everything memorized on how to do all this, but I got the know-how on how to figure it out. So, /A. I don't know what the A stands for, but I know it creates a link. Alright, let's save that and refresh this to see. Okay, that definitely works, but it is the way I have it set up is a bit of a hot mess right now. So let's not work on the store first, because that's going to take me to a completely different website. I don't want to link Etsy yet. So what we'll do, open link, href, relaunch Chrome. Like a million Chromes down here. Whatever. Okay, href, and that's where you... My laptop's having a hard time keeping up with my bull. So href, and then link the... Okay. One thing at a time, you're right. Slow down. We'll go full screen. So this is the blog button. We want it to map to... Oh my goodness. Stop. Everybody, just stop. What happened to my homepage? What? Okay, whatever. Blog.html. I want it to link to the blog. We'll save that. And now we'll run it, and we will show patience and allow it to do its thing. But I am confused on what the heck happened to my screen. Y'all saw my screen earlier. I used to have, like, it was laid out different. But also my cat did walk across my keyboard, so that she might have messed something up. Patience. Patience, young one. Okay. I'm losing it. I'm losing it. Yes, everything shall work. This opens my game. Yes. See, if I press the home page, it's going to take me to the old version. So I can't do that, but that's okay. Gallery. Is my gallery successful? Yes, the gallery is successful. And my store won't be, because my store was supposed to open Etsy, but I don't feel like doing that right now. And that works as well. Actually, I lied. I will go ahead and make it work with my Etsy. So for that, I will go back to something that contains the Etsy command, copy, and new home, and store button, and paste. And save. And now it should open Etsy. Yes, that is my store. Yes, that is my store. Cool. Now I will change this. I will be changing things. So to change these things, I will go back up to here. I guess towards the top. Actually, I want it to be under all this. Why? I don't know. And I will check with my old style sheet to see how I did it last time. Okay, so I'm just going to copy this much of it. And copy. And we will put that right here. Oh, and there's also visited. That also matters. So it doesn't become blue. Command copy. Now refresh that. All this should turn yellow. Yes, yellow. And to get rid of that line, we'll say text decoration none. And now I want it to go underneath the image. How would I make that happen? I might actually need to change it over here. So here it would say blog instead of in front of the image. I think that would work. Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to do that with all of them. And I also want the text to be centered. How do I do that? I think that would just be text align center. Right? Or maybe that's supposed to go, I think that's supposed to go somewhere else. Let's put it in the dot buttons, right? I think that would work. Yeah, now it's centered. Okay. Now I'm just going to reposition all the words over here, and I will be back. It's complete. It's functional. All the buttons work. and everything is great. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and change this old one to be old home. And now this new one that is named new home will be renamed to index, because the index is the main page of any website. So now if I were to go here, oh, let me save that actually, just in case. Sometimes things get finicky when you don't press save. So I saved it. Now if I were to open up, let's say, the gallery page, awesome, everything is beautiful here. And then if I click home, yeah, all right. This is complete. The website part is complete. Just as an extra piece of fun, I think I'll draw some grass and a little bit of stars for the background. But I'm content with this. I think it looks a lot better. So if you do want to see me apply this process to make it phone friendly as well, there will be a video out for that soon. So subscribe. I hope to see you around. Have a good day and goodbye.